up, everybody?
You know what time it is.
And today we're talking the Bell Witch.
Let's get into this. All right, that worked out smoothly. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Horror Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, my main man, my cohort, JT's in the house.
What's up, everybody?
And believe it or not, Breeze is back, baby.
Nice.
What's up, guys?
Our own Mistress of the Macabre.
Hey.
Back by popular demand.
Holla.
Well, we know you've been busy. We told everybody that you got your twinning. You got your twins, and she's been moving. She's a busy girl.
Big move, man.
Busy girl, but she's back.
And
that's going to be really creepy when they get older because they'll kind of be like doppelgangers.
Oh, we've already
Oh, my God.
We've already been talking about like...
Who was that just walked by?
We've already been talking about like their costumes for Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's check it out. This is my idea, and Bree likes it, but check it out. I said this year they should be evil gnomes.
Yes.
Nice.
Evil
Nice.
And then every year is going to be awesome.
Yes.
So it's going to be pretty freaking cool.
Of course, 1 year we're going to have to do the Shining Twins.
Yes.
Come on, man. Like, you cannot have twins and not do it. Like,
It's
a must.
It's a must.
For sure.
Yeah. So, guys, as you heard in there, the intro there, we're going to be talking about the Bell Witch tonight, but we'll get to that, I guess.
Yes. We'll get there.
Because I was going to we were kind of talking earlier. What I was talking to JT about was we need to, don't be afraid, talk about it.
No, I was just going to tell her, raise your mic up just a hair.
Yep.
Guys, we got...
Just make sure you're
good.
talking into it.
Absolutely.
There you go. We got a new setup, guys.
Hey, guys.
Perfect.
We got the new mics
I hope
in.
you guys can tell because it sounds really killer.
Really crisp.
It's
Love it.
awesome. Yeah. But what I was going to talk to JT about was me and Bree are, it comes out this Friday, right?
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
guys. So we're talking about going Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Chris is going to go with us.
What time you want to go?
It'll have to be the 7:15, whatever the show is, at around 7. Chris is going to go with us.
We want to try and get tickets now?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yes.
We get tickets ahead of time.
I get paid Thursday.
So, yeah, I mean, same thing here. I get paid Thursday too. But we can wait till Thursday if you want or get them early. I don't care.
Okay. Well,
whatever works out.
We'll discuss that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. But anyway, so
Scary
guys.
stories told in the dark.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Scary stories.
I'm so in for that movie, man. We've already talked about that. We kind of talked about it last week, our last episode. I'm so ready for that.
Yeah.
And it's coming.
Hallow Weekly last week did a really cool episode about that where they went back and they talked about the book and how it was created and all the different stuff about it.
Awesome.
And who they were talking to was the guy who put together and directed the documentary movie that just came out about it.
So cool.
I don't know if you guys knew that came out about a month ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can rent it, and it's on all the video on demand platforms right now.
I've got
sweet.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
But yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yo.
So we talked about we're going to be getting into the Bell Witch here.
Yep.
It's funny because we had this plan to do like a long time ago, but
we've been trying to get into the Bell Witch for a month.
Yeah, seriously,
we just can't get her to stand still long enough.
Yeah. I like it when they lay still like that. You know what movie that is? Anyone? Huh? The Frighteners?
No. The Frighteners, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember Frighteners? I fucking love that movie. Anyways, we've been trying to get into that one, but it's just kind of been hectic for us. But we're going to get into it tonight.
Yep.
Finally. So, the Bell Witch, guys. This is a pretty cool story. I believe that this is the story that the Blair Witch kind of was conceived around. Isn't that true?
Or confused with, maybe?
Or confused? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
We were talking about something about it.
Yeah. I honestly don't know where the Blair Witch came from because it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it had anything to do with the Bell Witch.
Yep.
Two different places. The Blair Witch was in Burkittsville, Indiana.
Yeah, 2 different eras too.
Yeah.
But guys, the Bell Witch is a really cool story. It's a neat little.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah, it's a folklore legend.
Yeah. It's a cool.
It goes way back.
It's a cool campfire story.
It is.
It's something that you could tell around a campfire and stuff. Maybe not to your children, but
maybe so.
Maybe if you're, I kind of quit letting my son watch horror movies. I know you guys are going to hate me for it, but well, he's still watching. We actually watch Insidious, The Last Key.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Creepy as shit.
That's a good one.
I'm not necessarily worried about the creepy. It's the
slashers.
It's the slashers.
Probably,
I don't want my son running around talking about I'm gonna stab you in the neck with a knife
or stab you in the boobie
and the boobs.
He talks about those all the time. There's nothing. I will never be able to get rid of that with him. That's just how it is.
You know, he's a boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So,
normal.
how do you guys want to start this off? Bree?
Let's just jump in with both feet.
Okay, what about? Let's just do a belly flop.
Whoa, hey, cannonball!
Well, since I got an idea,
Hey, and I'm fat enough to pull that off.
Oh man.
Since Bree hasn't been here for a minute, let's let her.
Yeah, let's let her talk so we can take a
Ladies
break.
first, baby. Ladies
So
first.
here we go.
Okay, so I did some research. And apparently, some claim that the Bell Witch is actually the spirit of Kate Bates. Katie Bates. A mean old neighbor of John Bell who believed she was cheated by him in a land deal.
Ooh.
On her deathbed, she swore that she would haunt the John Bell family and their descendants. So,
Yeah, awesome sauce. So I mean, and let's talk a little bit about the bells.
yeah.
I guess you can get into
family.
that.
Yeah.
The bell, are we talking about the Liberty Bell?
But yeah, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Oh! Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yo
There you
quiero,
go.
yo quiero Taco Bell. No, the Bell family, kind of get to the history of the Bell Witch here, and why she's called the Bell Witch is because of the Bell family that she supposedly kind of tormented, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And this kind of started, basically it happened from in between the 1817 and 1821.
Yep.
Right.
Is kind of the time frame on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Bells were a family that moved from North Carolina to Tennessee, in Robertson County there.
Yep.
And
Town of Adams.
it turned into be Adams, and originally it was Red River, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Red River.
Yes.
Which
Red
later was
River.
named Adams, Tennessee. Don't talk. Never mind. Anyway, hey guys, my new goal
just
for
in the mood.
my new goal for the
Do it.
podcast is to not get into some nasty stuff.
That's
I'm
gonna
going
be
to push
rough.
every button I can. Now.
Do it.
I'm going off on tangents. But so the Bells, like I said, they moved from North Carolina and then come into Tennessee, and they wound up buying some
A lot of land.
over time. Yeah, I think it was like
over-
328 acres.
Yep.
And
Ooh, that's a big.
yeah,
It's a lot of
yeah,
land.
in
Lot of land.
a large house. And the Bells were kind of upstanding, I guess you would say.
Yeah, they were.
Your normal middle class kind of family that you would find back then. Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a respectable,
yeah.
respectable.
Yeah. They were respected in the community. They all went to church.
Yep.
They were pretty devout into their
religion.
Yeah, I think
religion and
John Bell was actually an alderman, right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
He was an alderman
Yes, he
of the
was.
church.
in the church.
And
How many kids did they have?
what was it? I think it was like 9.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, back then you had 328 acres.
Yeah.
You had to have somebody take
Yes.
care of that.
Yeah. Yeah, did.
But it's really weird. You only hear about a few of them.
Yes.
They don't. It's really hard to find a lot of information about all the kids. They just give you information about like 3 or 4 of them.
Yes. Betsy is pretty much, I think, one of the main children because, the Bell Witch would actually attack her more than anybody else in the family.
Yeah. And to give a little shout out to my source that I got most of my information from, it was the actual website called the Bell Witch website. This is the name of it. The Bell Witch website, the story, or Keeping the Story Real.
Keep it real, yo.
Keep it real.
So, yeah.
Holla.
Keep it real. So that's where I got most of my info from. It's actually a pretty cool website if you guys are interested in the Bell Witch and learning some more stuff, getting more in depth. I mean, they've got so many resources on this website that you could literally click on a name, boom, and give you all kinds of information on that person. Click on like the name of a town or a house, and it gets a lot of great information on the website. So you guys should go check it out for sure.
Yeah.
So let's kind of, I don't want to overtalk you here.
Let's talk about like the Bell Witches, like the entities, what she was capable of doing.
Okay.
As like you would hear her speak, She would affect the physical environment. She would shapeshift. She was clairvoyant and capable of crossing long distance with superhuman speed.
Sounds like me.
Holla.
Yeah.
Minuteman.
Well,
Yeah. That's funny.
So yeah, you know, she. I'm trying to avoid this situation with everything I got. I'm trying not to pop off. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm loving this conversation.
Oh man.
But anyway, guys. So yeah, the way this started off is the Bell family. You know, like I said, moved here around 1817. One day, John Bell was checking his crops, and he seen like this odd looking like creature out in the middle of one of his fields, you know. Mm-hmm. And he said the animal kind of looked like a big dog with a rabbit's head.
Yep.
Which
Chupacabra.
is yeah. I mean, it's weird to me. I mean, that is weird, I guess you say.
Hey, we could use this story in our cryptid episode.
No shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell we'd call this thing, but you know, it's whatever. I mean, it's weird looking.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was a dog shaped.
It's a dog-it.
A dog.
Or a rod. Or a rog.
Oh, it's a rog.
It's a rog. I'm a mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Spaceballs for all you guys who don't know what I'm talking about.
Amazing movie.
Yes. Anyway. So Mr. Bell, you know, he seen this or whatever. He took a few shots at it, and it kind of vanished off. And this is kind of where everything got started.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is when everything started popping off. And nothing really happened until later on that evening after dinner. Right. And then after everyone was getting ready to go to bed and whatnot, they were laying down, and they heard this like pounding on the...
Yeah, like a strange knocking noise.
All around the entire house.
Right.
And, you know, it progressed over time, and to the point even when the Bells would run outside to try to catch whoever's doing this stuff, you know.
Wouldn't see nothing.
Nothing. There would be nothing there at all.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, over the next few nights, it got louder and more intense.
Progressively worse.
You know, and it just kept going. After a few weeks, the family began to hear what kind of sounded like rats chewing on the bed.
Yep.
The bedpost and stuff like that.
Waking the kids up.
And they're screaming, you know, in the middle of the night about stuff. You know, blankets and pillows being pulled off of them, put in the middle of the floor and stuff as they were sleeping. Go ahead.
Hearing the old lady singing.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get, you know, and then as time passed, you know, the Bells... Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say there was also a story that I had come across. There was an incident where Betsy was actually seeing a little girl in a green dress swinging on the swing outside her bedroom window.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember reading that one.
Nobody else ever saw this girl.
Yeah.
Betsy was the only one that saw her.
That's crazy. That would be so creepy, man.
Oh, yeah.
And that was around the same, while all this was going on, she kept seeing this little girl in a green dress.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, you kind of see that kind of quite often now anymore with all the videos that are out there, you know, that there's people watching swings, you know.
Have you seen that video on the internet where the dad is sitting in the car with his kids and they're at a playground?
Yeah, and the swings.
And you see the swing set just going crazy and there's no wind out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, people more and more now are catching this cool. That's
awesome.
the great. I mean, there's a lot of disadvantages to having cameras everywhere and like video everywhere and stuff, but there's also a lot of cool shit.
Biggest disadvantage to this one is
you get to see me.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
Anyway, Mom always said I was special.
Yes, you are.
But like I said, as time passed, the family started to hear, like, they couldn't make it out at first, but it kind of sounded like a woman humming hymns and stuff like that. They couldn't make the words out at first. But like we said, this is all progressing, getting worse and worse over time.
Yep.
So as it's getting worse and worse over time, they start hearing actual words and kind of getting an actual...
responses to conversations and everything.
They're getting I don't know what the word is. but like they can hear a voice.
Yeah.
And
right.
the same voice. They
An
can
audible
they
response,
can distinctly tell that
and
it's
it
the same.
wasn't just Betsy and John Bell Sr. I mean, it was the whole family was hearing this.
Exactly.
And
witnesses.
also some friends and witnesses that had come into the home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their neighbors.
So, I was going to get into that,
Yeah.
you know. It was getting bad. Betsy was the one who kind of took the brunt of it. And,
Yeah, she did.
You know, she would be getting her hair pulled and like lifted up off the ground, smacked in the face repeatedly,
slapped around,
beat like really bad,
mm-hmm.
and
whelps all over her face and her body.
Yeah, and it got so
Should've
bad.
Listened.
Well, you know, John was trying to keep, or say Mr. Bell, he was trying to keep this on the low because you know,
well, he is a respectable,
Yep.
you know, person in the community. I mean, you don't want this shit getting out.
Yeah, you don't want to. He was trying to kind of keep it on the low so his family wouldn't. Now we're gonna get into some other stuff here in a minute about some things, but for this part of the story, we're gonna tell it like this. You know, he's keeping it on the low because he didn't want people to think he was crazy or something, and he'd lose all his respectability in the town. But it kind of got to the point where his daughter Betsy was getting hurt enough to where he's like, okay, I got to tell someone. So he told his friend and neighbor. What was his name? James Johnston.
And his wife.
He told him about it, and he's like, man, you guys, if you stay the night, you'll tell what I'm talking about, right? And, you know, Mr. Johnston, he was kind of like, oh, you guys, okay.
Well, and Johnston was high up in the church, too.
Yes.
Was he some sort of minister or something?
He was an elderman.
He was another one.
He was another
alderman.
alderman. Okay. Yeah, he was another alderman.
Because there was, in the story, well, you'll get into it here in a minute.
Yeah, you know, he was another alderman, and you know, so him and his wife came and they stayed the night, and Mr. Johnston got to feel quite a bit of the effect that Betsy was feeling because he woke up being like smacked repeatedly in the face hard.
They got to experience everything.
So
nothing like going to the Bell cabin and getting your Johnston smacked. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
For free.
You know, the voices they told them to get out. You know, and all that stuff, and the normal things you would hear.
I'm sorry, I got to you. Quit whacking on my Johnston.
Oh, Jesus.
Perfect.
I'm glad it's not me this time.
Perfect.
Now I don't feel so bad.
Love it. Love it.
So, I mean, you know, after this, it kind of got out. And a cool fact of all this is it got out so far to the point where, you know, Major General Andrew Jackson, future president, heard about it and came and visited the farm.
Yeah, he quoted.
Well, now you gotta tell how he found out about it though.
Go ahead.
Two of the Bell sons. It was Drew and
the Spanish Brigade
Junior, right? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it Junior?
Was it John Bell Jr.?
Yeah.
Junior.
Okay, they were actually under General Jackson's command.
Well, and actually, it was just them two. That's right. That's right.
Right, and he had heard the story, you know, that was going around the barracks, and I think the men were talking about it
in the field.
Yeah, was spreading
in the field, and he decided that he wanted to come and take a look for himself.
Yeah, they served under him in the Battle of New Orleans in 1819.
Yeah.
What's great is a quote that actually came from him was, I would rather face the entire British Army than spend another night with the Bell family.
See, and what's cool about this little story is when he came to the house, he came with some horses, you know, cavalry,
and an entourage,
and with a I was gonna say trailer with a freaking carriage
wagon.
With the wagon. And thing is, when they came, this is the story, you know, when they came to the property, that they couldn't move no further. Once they got to the front of the property, you know, and they tried to push it. The horses stopped.
Wouldn't even move.
I mean, they couldn't go nowhere. They just couldn't.
Right.
It's not that
they couldn't even force the
buggy.
Cart
they
to
couldn't
go.
push it or nothing.
They couldn't move it.
And then finally, you know, Jackson, I think he said something about this is the work of the devil or something like that.
Right.
And then
mocked it.
And then finally they heard a voice that said, "Oh, you may pass or something like that."
Yeah.
And let him come on in, right?
You have frauds among you or something.
Well, what happened was they were coming through the house and they were going on the inside of the house, a few of the men and Mr. Jackson. were going through the house, and this guy claimed that he was a witch wrangler.
Yeah.
Like he had a special silver gun
special powers
that would like tame witches and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, after getting slapped up and kicked in the ass, you know, that kind of went away pretty quick. And
he didn't wrangle no more.
He didn't wrangle nothing. And then the story that I read was that after that night, they were supposed to stay for a few nights, but the next day, people were claiming they seen the general at another fort down the road. So he evidently
they booked it.
Yeah, they evidently booked it that night. You know,
he said, "This house sure gone crazy."
It gone cray.
Know? So that's a pretty cool thing that they showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything you want to get into before we start talking about?
There's some interesting stuff about the Andrew Jackson deal.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That I don't. Well, I'll just go ahead and say it. That people have kind of went back now into his records because these generals, they recorded everything.
Oh yeah.
You know, they wrote everything down. Blah blah blah. Honestly, there is no mention of this incident in any of his reports or anything. But think about the time.
Exactly. Same reason
you're talking about a general.
That puts you in the mental ward.
Exactly.
The same reason John Bell didn't want to get out.
The reason why I wanted to mention that is you'll come across that if you do some research on this, you'll come across that there was really no mention of this in any of his notes or anything.
Yeah.
But really, people, put yourselves in his perspective. Why would you want to alienate yourself like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're the general of an army.
It's the same way like John Bell, same way. He didn't want that getting out. Of course, the general wouldn't want that getting out, you know what I mean?
Right.
So who knows? Maybe he left that night because some shit happened, popped off, he had to go. And maybe he was like, well, if I stay here overnight, people are going to start asking questions.
Right.
Maybe he was going to make it a day thing or whatever, Stories get crossed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But is there anything you want to talk about before we get into the other side of this story?
Well, I know that there was a character of the name Joshua Gardner, which was Betsy's, suitor.
Love interest, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Bell Witch did not like him at all.
No.
She would torture him tremendously to the point that she, made him stuck at home. He was so ill.
Bedridden.
And then Betsy ended up calling it off in the end.
Yeah. And she ended up marrying someone else.
Dick Buttkiss.
Yes.
No, that's what he did.
Yeah.
She ended up marrying someone else years later.
Yeah.
But now that name escapes me.
Do you want to get into the funeral of John?
I didn't think about that.
I mean, we can. Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. You know what? Go ahead.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff that I've got actually is what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to
because we all kind of know the story.
Well, you go ahead and you can talk about that.
So let's get into the death of John Bell.
Because I got some stuff I want to talk about that's an alternate to what is going on here.
Okay. Oh, shit.
So go ahead.
Okay, so apparently on December 20th, 1820, John Bell died after slipping into a coma the day before. The family found a small vial with liquid inside. Apparently the family gave some of their cat and the cat died instantly.
Yeah.
So we don't know what was inside it, but apparently the entity ended up speaking up, joyfully saying, "I gave old John a big dose of that last night, which fixed him."
Yeah.
And then apparently,
and then apparently Drew picked up this vial and he threw it into the fire. And when he threw it into the fire, it burst into a big blue flame.
Oh, yeah. And shot up the chimney and everything.
Right.
It's crazy. But yeah, apparently at the funeral, you would hear the old lady just laughing and joking about everything and would not stop until the last person left the funeral, the graveyard.
Now, I don't remember when this incident happened, but there was a story about a hymn being sung. About a hymn being sung in two different churches that were 13 miles apart.
Yeah.
And it was the exact same sermon.
Yeah,
given
at
the exact same time.
Yeah, and
but I think that was while John was still alive.
Yeah.
And just to go back real quick, I want to mention something that was pretty cool real fast. the voice of the Bell Witch could be heard over the entire land.
Yeah.
All over the 300
all over their
and something
property.
acres,
Yeah.
I just want to catch
Yeah.
that before I forget.
Well, and we didn't even talk about the cave that's on the property.
Yep, the Bell Witch Cave. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
which is a big tourist attraction.
I would love to go there.
I would too.
Which guys we will be going.
Which?
No pun intended. We'll be going there soon.
Yeah, I've got some stories about the cave, but it happened later, so
okay.
We'll finish off.
Anything else you want to talk about on that?
Well, apparently after the funeral, the presence of the entity, the witch, her presence kind of backed off a little bit. It was as if like she succeeded in what she was wanting to accomplish.
Well, but she came to Lucy.
Yeah.
And told Lucy that she was going to return in like 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
And so whenever she did return, which was in 1828, she stuck around for 2 weeks doing the same kind of shenanigans.
Yeah.
The knocking on walls and the speaking hymns and stuff and different things. Very strange.
It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
And then she came back again like 100 and something years, 107 years later or something like that.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's kind of...
well, whenever she came back in 1828, she said that she would return on the bicentennial of the original.
Yep.
Her first appearance, which would have made it 1917.
Yeah.
But she ended up... Well, we'll get into that because I've got some stuff in between there that happened. Because I kind of got into some of the newer things that were happening. All this happened between 1817 and 1821.
Mm-hmm.
In somewhere 1849 and 1856, there were some articles written from papers about the Bell Witch. One of them was in Boston, and the other one I think was from New Jersey. And they just wrote up some articles telling the story. Now, they didn't have in-depth information about it.
Yeah.
But they were just telling, the folklore of it or whatever. Well, apparently in 1868, there was a trial. The trial was called the Clinard and Burgess trial. And these two men were accused of murdering a Mr. Smith. Now, they're not entirely certain on his first name. They're not sure if it was Charles or...
John.
I'm not... I
John.
don't remember that. But they didn't really know because there's not a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
But they were accused of murdering him. Well, during the trial, it came out that they thought that he was performing witchcraft that he had been possessed by the Bell Witch.
Oh, snap.
These two men were found not guilty and acquitted of the crime.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Just some really weird stuff happened. There was a haunting in 1880. This was actually in Springfield, Tennessee, which I'm not sure how far away that is. I should have looked that up. I didn't. Sorry.
Epic failure.
I'm fucking fired. But in Springfield, Tennessee, there were reports of a house where they were getting knocking noises all around the house. They were hearing floor knocking.
Nice.
They actually, during the occurrence, surrounded this house with 12 people. And none of these 12 people could see anything happening, but everybody could hear the sound.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like my house. You hear the knocking.
Oh, my God. Everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened. I don't want to go too far if you guys have got some stuff you want to talk about.
Well, I mean, I just got something
Anything's good.
I want to talk about, if you're done with kind of the facts, the stuff that you've looked up.
Well, there's some modern stuff that I kind of want to talk about. Then I also want to talk about how the story got out. Because we haven't even mentioned...
Martin Ingram. Yep, Ingram.
Who had wrote the authenticated history of the Bell Witch in 1894. I almost said 1984, which was a great album by Van Halen.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
But anyway, so it's really strange that there were some descendants of the Bell family. Charles Bell, who was the grandson of John Bell Jr. All right, he had talked to his father about John Bell Sr. had told them that he does not want any of the story going out to the papers, to the public, until the last remaining descendant of John Bell Sr. has died.
Oh, wow.
So what they did is they waited until John Bell Jr. had passed away before they released this information.
Wow.
And then he wrote that book and put it out. Well, after he wrote that book, that the prophecy in that book from 1928 said the witch will return in 1935, which was 107 years, which is what she had told Lucy Bell.
Yep.
So,
facts.
So right around 1935, there were all kinds of articles coming out from all these papers, and a lot of these papers ended up getting sued for plagiarism, claiming they were releasing false information or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Well, 1937, there were reports come out of noises deep inside the cave.
Absolutely.
And so here we go again. In 1937, this was actually in July of 1937, they were having, and I know this is going to be hard for me to say, they were having a wiener roast outside the
wiener roast.
Yes,
they were having a wiener roast outside the Bell Witch Cave.
Wiener.
Toasted wieners.
Roasted.
Wieners.
In my face.
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So there was a group of people out there having this wiener roast.
Wiener.
And while they were out there, the Bell Witch appeared on the cliff above the cave.
Yes.
Well, everybody saw it.
Yeah.
They immediately took off running.
I would.
There was a minister there with them. Go figure.
Yeah.
Wiener roast.
Yeah.
We're here all week, folks.
I'm
We're
sorry.
here all
Good. That was good.
Anyway.
That was a good.
Anyway, there was a minister there, and
show me your wiener.
He figured out that it wasn't really the Bell Witch. It was a reflection of the moon on a rock above the cave. So you kind of take that story for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, is it mass hysteria like we talk about all the time? All these people thought they saw something. One person thought they saw it. Nobody else saw it, so they all ran. You know, if I said to you right now, Jason's coming,
I would run.
Are you going to question it, or
No.
are you going to fucking run?
You're
No,
gonna
because
run.
right there.
Fucking run. Yeah, he's standing right behind. Hey, he's standing right behind me.
Yeah,
Amy.
yes,
right
yes,
there.
see, it's run.
Oh, shit.
So anyway, that was in 1937. Well, now we're going to jump forward a few years. In 1965, there was a woman that her mother had went and visited the cemetery where John Bell Sr. was buried.
Yeah.
And while she was there, she heard a voice that told her to stand up and look around. Well, later on, she told this story to her daughter.
Yeah.
Her daughter was driving home and her car ran out of gas, or something happened. Her car broke down on the side of the road, and she was by a cornfield. So she decides to get out, and, you know, of course, she can't figure out what's wrong with the car.
Yeah.
She walks out into the cornfield and finds an old iron kettle flipped upside down. So she picks up this kettle, and underneath this kettle is a belt buckle with a pearl inlay that she took back. It looked very old, so she grabbed it and she took it back and had it appraised, and they figured that this belt buckle was 160 to 200 years old.
Holy shit.
And it had been underneath this kettle all that
The whole time.
Cool.
So,
That's awesome.
you know, just kind of a
Interesting fact,
kind of
for
a
sure.
weird
Yeah.
coincidence there.
Yeah.
In 1977, there was a lady, Bonnie Hanneline, I think is how you say that. She claims that in 1944...
Or Hanlon.
Hanlon, maybe. Anyway, she claims in 1944, she went into the Bell Witch Cave. The only thing she had was a lantern. Now, in 1944, lanterns were basically a candle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her lantern was blown out while she was back in the cave. There was no wind in this cave, no air going through it whatsoever.
She farted.
So she relit the candle,
Excuse me.
it was extinguished again.
Yeah.
So she made her way back to the front of the cave. As she gets to the front of the cave, she found like some cans of like pork and beans and some different things there.
Spam.
And so that would explain the fart.
I told you. I fucking told you.
Anyway, later on that night, come to find out, there were 2 escaped convicts hiding
up in
the
there?
back of the cave.
Oh,
And
wow.
this girl just barely made it out of there.
Oh,
now, did they
wow.
blow out her candle?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Maybe they
she
were
blew
right
out
next to
theirs.
her.
So,
Whoopsie, I made a poopsie.
And now here is the last thing I want to talk about.
Holy fuck, it's about time.
I know. And this is the creepiest one. I watched a documentary about the Bell Witch on, I think it was Netflix. It was either Netflix or Amazon Prime. And on there, they were interviewing one of the descendants of the Bell family. This guy's name was Gordon Bell or something like that.
Gordon Ramsay.
This guy's actually a mortician.
Ha, nice.
He runs a funeral home.
Nice.
And he was just telling the story about different things that he had heard or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he had talked about is at some point they had to remove John Bell Sr.'s tombstone because people kept, tagging it with graffiti and all kinds of stuff and vandalizing it. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a story about there were 2 guys that apparently got this tombstone, picked it up, threw it in the back of their pickup truck. On their way home, had an accident, both guys died. The police show up at this accident scene.
Yeah.
2 dead bodies, John Bell Sr.'s tombstone in the back of the truck.
Don't fuck with John. You die.
Kind of strange.
Yeah.
So now they have moved John Bell Sr., they have put a marker in. Before it was in a family, it was in the Bell family cemetery.
Yeah.
Now they've moved it to a prominent location within one of the bigger cemeteries in Adams.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, and this is kind of like where I want to get into what I was going to talk about. People vandalizing it and stuff like that and doing...
Which is sad.
Well, here's the thing, though. There's a whole nother story to this.
Oh.
Talking about the Bell family, and it's funny, we kind of popped a joke about it, about having a Catholic priest there, or preach there, supposedly what really was going on in this situation was that John Bell had been molesting his daughter and beating her.
Oh, wow.
And she was the youngest, which is why he prayed
allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't want to get sued.
Can't prove that in a court of law.
Cannot prove it. This is just stories, guys, or whatever. You got 2 sides to a story, the paranormal part and the real part. And I mean, the sad part is that this stuff does happen. But, they say the reason why he kept it a secret is because he was the one abusing his daughter. He was, molesting her and beating her.
He was the Bell Witch.
Yes, basically. And if there's a great movie that came out, wasn't it called The Bell Witch?
Yes.
Which kind of...
Are you talking about the one with Donald Sutherland?
Yeah, Donald Sutherland.
Yes.
That's called An American Haunting.
Yes.
American Haunting.
Man, it's been a while since I watched that one.
Yeah, me too. But it kind of gives you both sides of the story at the same time.
Yes.
It does.
It's a really great movie to watch if you want to understand.
It really is until
more.
You get to the end of it and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
for sure.
But it tells both sides of the story. And, the sad part is that shit happens. The reason why he preyed on his daughter is because she was the youngest.
Yep.
And she was more vulnerable.
Yep.
And he could easily manipulate her into doing that stuff. And the best way to disprove it was at this time, people did want to keep things a secret, but they also wanted to had an excuse for something, So looks like we might be having some problems here, folks. Hold on a minute.
No, we're good.
Okay. We don't know what's going on. We're going to troubleshoot this stuff, but it's been a great episode so far. But guys, yeah, there's two stories to this. You know, it's kind of creepy what happened. It's
creepy on one side, kind of sad on the other.
Yeah. Either way, if you just go with the regular story, I think it's cool campfire type story. You know?
It is.
I'd agree.
You know, and it's kept its momentum over the years because people are still talking about this today.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
The Bell Witch Cave is one of the most visited places in Adams, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
From what I hear, Adams, Tennessee is a really cool place. They actually do a play every year around Halloween about the Bell Witch.
That's awesome.
And they get people from all over the world show up to this play.
We got to go there, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll be in our plans. Yeah. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that we're going to be doing. And we're just slowly growing this thing and this community, you know?
Yeah, they've got an old schoolhouse that's got a museum in it that's got a lot of the Bell Witch memorabilia in it and stuff. And it's even got some of the letters and stuff that were written by the Bell family.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really pretty neat. Pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely gonna check out that stuff. I would love to go in that cave and stuff like that.
They have right there by the school. They actually have the actual Bell cabin. They moved it to the school property.
I think Ghost Adventures, as much as people don't like it, I like the show, but most people don't like it. They did an episode on that, and I think it was pretty cool.
Ghost Adventures. You're gonna shit when I tell you this.
Oh, Jesus.
So my wife and I are going to Vegas in November.
Oh, you're going to go to the museum?
I'm going to go to their museum.
You got to Facebook Live that.
Yeah,
yes, seriously.
You got to do some Horror Chronicle stuff on that for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, I think it's going to be it for the Bell Witch episode.
Close that chapter.
It's a cool story. Like I said, if you guys want a cool website to look at, go to the Bell Witch website, keeping the story real.
Yep.
It's a great website. A lot of good sources on that for this story.
And there's some good documentaries out there about it too.
Yes.
And it depends on which one you watch and what you read and stuff. You're going to hear different aspects of the story. What I tried to do was, okay, this guy's saying this guy's saying that. Let's meet in the middle and say, okay, here's what we're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The problem with this is you're talking about a 200-year-old paranormal
legend
case that has happened.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever going to be able to prove this.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to ever be able to disprove it.
But that's the cool part about it. It's
keeping it alive.
It really is.
It's keeping it alive for sure.
It's like we've always talked about, kind of like with Halloween, how you're talking about the movie Halloween, how Rob Zombie kind of gave you some background that really wasn't necessary because it was that not knowing that made it cool.
The mystery of it.
You know, the mystery is what we like, guys.
Yep.
Speaking of Halloween, let's get an opinion here. Have you heard that they're got a petition going about changing the date of Halloween?
Oh yeah, the actual date of Halloween.
Yeah,
I don't understand
to change it to last Saturday in October.
Yeah, it's so.
I don't understand it.
No, you can't do that. It's All Hallows Eve, which is followed by All Saints Day.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is that what it is. Well, I don't agree with it at all. Let's get that out.
I'm pretty sure we're all on the
But the
same page.
reason why is because as parents wanting that, we gotta take our kid trick or treating, and
I understand that. And here's my thoughts on it. My wife and I were talking about this, and she came up with a valid point. She said, don't change the date of Halloween, but if you want to observe Halloween on the last Saturday of the month,
whatever,
and have that your trick or treating day,
then let it proceed. But don't be changing.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, though, you really can't. Fact of the matter is, you can't. It is what it is.
Right.
And no matter what you're going to do, that's when we're going to celebrate it.
Yep.
Right.
So,
Well, they can do that because they've done it before with Christmas.
The way the world's going right now, nothing surprises me, but I will always celebrate Halloween on the fuck time it's supposed to be.
31st.
So, that's just all there is to it.
31st.
You know what I mean? So, guys, we just want to say stuff's been kind of popping lately. Our Facebook's going really well. We got a lot of new followers. Thank you guys for following us.
Got some new equipment. We got to figure out how to work.
A lot of new equipment we're working with, guys. Hopefully this episode sounds awesome. We've been testing it. before we record it. It sounded really good.
Upgrade.
We're trying our best to give out the best product, guys. And we really want to say thank you for all the people who are following us on all of our channels, wherever we're at, on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Castbox, all of them.
We love you.
We love you guys. Thanks for all of the support. Keep telling people about us. Keep putting it out there.
Share the love.
Yeah, we want to build this community up like we talked about.
Our horror fam.
We want to build this horror fam up. We want to tell everybody about it. Get it out there. Like, share, subscribe. Just push it. Push it real good.
Push it real good.
But guys, hit us up on all of our
salt and pepper going on.
Salt and pepper here.
Hit us up on all of our channels. Yeah,
Sorry.
Jesus Christ!
Sorry.
I never thought we'd have went that direction.
First she's singing Big Butts. Now she's singing.
Oh, we're releasing that shit too.
Oh, you guys don't love that. We might throw that in at the end of this.
That was classic.
But yeah, guys, thanks for all your support. We love you guys. Hit us up on all of our stuff. Leave us some comments.
Share anything. Come on.
Send us some emails.
Mess with us.
The Horror Chronicles podcast at gmail.com. Holla at your boy. I got it. Yahtzee. And yeah, guys, just keep showing the love. We love you. We're noticing it. We're appreciating it. Bigger and better things coming.
Absolutely.
We're pushing it out there.
Yeah.
I do want to say a big thank you to JT because
this guy right over
if it wasn't for him,
nothing.
Shut your mouth. If it wasn't for him, this stuff would not even be nearly what it's doing. He's the fucking man for all this stuff.
We're trying.
Absolutely.
So I want to show some love to him.
It's a joint effort.
It is joint effort, but you're like the fucking
You
spark.
the man right
You're the
now.
lighter
You
of the
man.
joint.
Well,
you the man.
no, I rolled the joint.
He rolled
You two
that.
came in and lit it up.
Yeah, but anyway, I want to say, shout out to him for doing all this hard work.
Oh yeah.
Suck a fart out of my hand.
Yeah. Hey, I told you not to talk about our stuff. That's secret. Anyways, guys, that's the end of
Them's
this
just
one.
jokes.
Yep, we got lots of jokes. We love you guys. And as always, until next time,
Keep it creepy.
Woo!
These measures are chosen.